بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And this is another session of the analysis of Surah Al-Qamar. And today we're going to be looking at the Nahw and Sarf of some of the ayat. And we're going to continue from where we left off last time. We had done all the way to ayah number 43. So we're going to continue from ayah number 44 and go as much as we can. Because again, like I said previously, some of these ayat keep repeating themselves, although I don't think we're going to have any more repeating ayat. We'll see. But anyway, we'll go as much as we can. And also the sarf, as you can see, most of the sarf words are not as much. So the sarf also keeps reducing in a sense. All right. Again, if anyone wants to participate, like I mentioned, Sultana is not going to be joining us today. She has something to do. So if there's anybody who wants to help out, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just go on as usual, inshallah. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Okay. All right. So maybe not to break the flow, I'm just gonna go through what we mentioned before. Maybe كذبوا بآياتنا. So this is the story of Fir'aun. This is the last story. Remember there are 5 stories in the surah, or 5 evidences, or if you will, because Allah in the beginning he says وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّنَ الْأَنبَاءِ مَا فِيهِ مُزْدَجَرٌ, and then he goes on to narrate 5 different, stories that relate to those evidences that they were given, right? So ولقد جاء آل فرعون النذر كذبوا بآياتنا كلها فأخذناهم أخذ عزيز مقتدر. Okay, so Allah is talking about how they were grabbed. We haven't done the explanation of this ayat, remember, because we're doing the Nahw and the Sarf first before we go into the explanation. فأخذناهم أخذ عزيز مقتدر أكفاركم خير من أولئكم أم لكم براءة في الزبر. Then you have another So whenever you have Hamzatul Istifham, this whenever you have it, it comes with All right? Whenever you have هل, حرف الاستفهام هل, it comes with أو. So هل أو It's a very important thing to remember. And you can have as many as you want. It's like in English. This or this or this or this or this. You can have so many or, right? So same thing in Arabic. You can have one Hamza and you can have as many as you want. So this is kind of what is happening in this ayah. So أكفاركم خير من أولئكم أم لكم براءة في الزبر أم يقولون نحن جميع المنتصر, right? So we're going to begin where we left off. So للإضراب, like we said, it doesn't change, it's the same thing. So للإضراب. Then يقولون is a فعل مضارع. So this is a مضارع. And the فاعل is the واو الجماعة. So you can say هم, the inside pronoun. This one. In some Arab books, you will see wow. They will say والواو فاعل. Okay. In other books, you will see واو الجماعة فاعل. Okay. It's the same thing, right? It's just different ways of calling the same thing. It's like in different languages, you have different names for the same thing. In Swahili, a banana has a different name. In English, a banana has a different name. In Arabic, a banana has a different name, so on and so forth. But it's the same thing. It's a banana, right? So that's kind of what happens there. So يقولون فعل مضارع فاعله هم. And then whenever we have قال يقول, this verb, whatever comes after it most of the time is going to be مقول القول في محل نسب مفعول به. So this sentence نحن جميع منتصر, we would say that this is مقول القول of يقولون. What do they say? This is what they say. It's in the quotes, okay? نحن جميع منتصر is what they say. So this will be في محل نسب مقول القول مفعول به. And inside that مقول القول we have نحن جميع منتصر جملة اسمية. So you can see نحن, this will be a مبتدأ, right? And then جميع is the second رفع, so this would be a خبر. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And منتصر, if you look at جميع and منتصر, you would see that they match in 4 properties. Therefore منتصر is our صفة. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And we say that this whole sentence is مفعول به. مفعول به منصوب. Right? Are we good? Any questions? Clear? Great. Again, remember, if you have any if you need any clarifications whatsoever, do not pause, do not hesitate. Just let me know. You can type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. So good. Then we have سيهزم الجمع. So this scene, sa, is called scene للمستقبل. It's for the future. So whenever you read a grammar book, you'd see it was seen للاستقبال or something like that. So it's basically a harf. So we don't really pay much attention to it. It's for the future. That's all you need to know. يهزم, هزم, and now you have يهزم. So this is مجهول. This is مضارع مجهول, right? يهزم, هزم, يهزم. So it's in the passive line. And then the inside pronoun مجهول. The inside pronoun is of course هو, but because we have هو, sometimes not the inside pronoun. What did I say? Yeah, it's the inside pronoun, but the نائب الفاعل is what I meant. So the نائب الفاعل is the هو, and because it's the هو version, then we get to look outside if there's something else there. Okay, so we see الجمع is رفع. So that tells us that this is our نائب الفاعل. فاعل. Right?
You can home
Sorry?
instead of who.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, today I guess my typing is not the best. Thank you for that. All right. Yeah, who and whom are definitely not the same thing. So, yeah. Okay, so الجمع is the نائب الفاعل of سيهزم. سيهزم الجمع. All right. Because this is passive. وحرف عطف, we know this by now. يولون. Okay. يولون. Another فعل مضارع, and of course it is معطوف to يهزم. I just want to confirm something. Yeah. Okay. So واو حرف عطف مضارع. And here, of course, هم version. هم يولون. ولا يولي. And then يولي يوليان يولون. This is the مضارع, the هم version. ويولون الدبر. الدبر. The فتحة there already tells you what this is. So this is a مفعول به. Okay. Again, you can see it's just very simple. جملة اسمية and جملة فعلية. فعل فاعل متعلق. There's no متعلق we've seen here, so it's فعل فاعل or مبتدا خبر, and so on and so forth. Any questions? Are we good? Maybe the only thing that is difficult in this surah is the sarf a little bit and the vocabulary, because the vocabulary is very almost unique to this surah. Like most of the words, they are particularly used for this surah, or in the form in which they appear in the surah is kind of unique in a sense. So maybe that's what makes this a little bit different. Any questions there? Are we all good? Great. So let's look at the sarf of some of these words that we haven't looked at before. So I'm just gonna type and you can do it with me. You can say it out loud so that we can all revise together. So فأخذناهم, أخذ is what we're looking at. So the jidr is going to be hamza, ha, dhal. And of course, this is أخذ يأخذ. أخذ يأخذ. And أخذنا, that is ماضي. نحن أخذنا. Because remember, the ماضي changes at the end. All right, so أخذنا, أخذت. Yeah? Anything? Somebody wants to say something? Okay. أخذ يأخذ. Let's put the dhamma there so that we all. أخذ يأخذ. أخذ. فهو آخذ. Right? And of course, أخذ is what we're looking for. Sarf كبير أخذ. أخذا. أخذوا. And then أخذ. أخذت, أخذتي, أخذتما, أخذتم, أخذت, أخذنا. نحن version is the one we're looking for. So if you do the entire sarf, you will come to أخذنا. Okay, this is what we're looking for. And أخذنا is we took, we grabbed, you can even say we seized. I think that's kind of like how it was translated, or what you will encounter in your translation. We grabbed them, we seized them, we took them. Right?
Still self forgive the third one. Akaza yakuzu. Then what will it be, the third one?
آخذ, the اسم فاعل. فهو آخذ.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then the passive will be أخذ يؤخذ أخذا فهو مأخوذ. Right. Oh, what else do we have here? Let's see. Yeah, so we seized, I think let's just go with seizing. So we seized them. Put too many. All right. Then we have مقتدر. مقتدر. اقتدر يقتدر اقتدار فهو مقتدر. Right? So that's what we're dealing with here. So this is اقترب family. So this will be اقتدر. And of course it's اقترب family 8. مقتدر اسم فاعل. So this is اسم فاعل. And it's اقتدر يقتدر اقتدار فهو مقتدر. That's what we're looking for. مقتدر اسم فاعل. So مقتدر, مقتدران, مقتدرون. Yeah, sometimes you won't even need this, or you مقتدرة, 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 مقتدرتان, you can do all the sarf if you want there. But as long as you just have some idea, some basic idea of where this word belongs to. Right? And مقتدر, like mighty, power, all powerful, all capable. I'm just gonna check how I translated this again. Powerful, capable, I think. I didn't even finish my. Okay, so inshallah khair. I'm also behind on some few things, but we'll get there, no problem. So we can say all powerful is fine. All capable. And this, of course, is referring to فأخذناهم أخذ عزيز مقتدر. The grab of Allah. أخذ عزيز مقتدر. Okay. منتصر, again, you can see is more or less similar, like مقتدر, منتصر, similar patterns. So it's the same thing. But here we have نصر. Again, family 8. You see, if you notice something, that this surah has a lot of family 8. Like if you just look at just on the if you just look at look 8 8, a lot of family 8 8 keeps coming up, 8 8 8 8, a lot of family 8. So this is like a revision for family 8. Alhamdulillah. Anyway, so this is again اسم فاعل and انتصر, which is different from نصر, like we mentioned. So انتصر, ينتصر is more emphatic. انتصار, فهو منتصر. And of course, this is what we're looking for. منتصر. منتصر. منتصران. منتصرون. And منتصر basically means um how do we victorious, you can say. منتصر, victoria. Let's just go with victorious. So intasara is to help, to aid, to give victory. So the isim fa'il will be the one who, you can say the aider, or the one who gives victory. But then victorious, I think, just is okay, it's fine. Right. Then we have سيهزم الجمع ويولون الدبر. So سيهزم. This is هزم, يهزم. Uh, ها oops. هزم, family 1, ضرب. And this is سيهزم, so it's مضارع مجهول, like we mentioned, مجهول. So هزم, يهزم, هزم, فهو هازم. اسم فاعل is هازم. Right. And then, of course, if you do the passive line, maybe we can even do it. Why not? هزم, يهزم, هزم, فهو مهزوم. Like مفعول مهزوم. So يهزم is what we are looking for. يهزم, يهزمان, يهزمون. سيهزم الجمع. And سيهزم الجمع. So they will be defeated, or they will be their jama', their gathering would be defeated, we can say, or rerouted, or yeah. I haven't so سيهزم الجمع. Let's say it will be defeated. It will be defeated, and it's going back to the outside dua al-jam'a. Okay. ولا يولي. This is where we're coming now. ولا. So this is ولا, yeah. Family 2. يولون, it's مضارع. هم version, مضارع. So nothing much to do there. So and then we have ولا, يولي, تولية, فهو مول. Right? مول. Again, this is, as you can see, this is لفيف. The kind of irregularity that we have here is لفيف مفروق. So we have wow in the beginning and we have ya in the end. So a weak letter in the beginning and a weak letter in the end. So you gotta watch out for this kind of irregularity. It's a bit the sarf of it sometimes it's a bit tough. So يولي, that's the فعل مضارع. هو يولي, هما يوليان. هو يوليان, هم it was supposed to be يوليون, as you can see. We were supposed to add una, but iuna is not something we like. So that's what happened there. So it became يولون. يوليان. يوليون, that was supposed to be the thing, but then yeah, we don't like that. So يولون. And what ayah is this? سيهزم الجمع ويولون الدبر. So again, to turn or to, yeah. ويولون, they will turn. All right. Any questions so far? Are we good? Everything is clear? Okay, so we're gonna keep going until wherever we reach. We should make this a bit bigger. Okay, بل, we've talked about بل before again. بل للإضراب. It came before. So بل, we said بل, when you see a بل للإضراب, it's also حرف عطف, but it serves the purpose of negating what came before and affirming what comes after. Okay, so if I say, for example, Ahmed came, بل Muhammad. I am negating the fact that it was Ahmed. I am saying, no, it wasn't Ahmed, it was actually Muhammad. That's what bel does. Okay, so it negates completely what I said before, and it puts emphasis, it sort of highlights what comes after. It affirms what comes after. الساعة. So it's the first رفعة that we're seeing. So this makes it مبتدأ. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. بل الساعة موعد, as you can see. It's the second رفعة. And it's like, it doesn't have al, so it looks pretty much like a خبر. And of course is an إضافة. موعدهم. So خبر of الساعة. And then you have واو حرف عطف. We're not gonna focus much on that. And then you have الساعة, another مبتدأ. So this is another sentence. So you can see that this first sentence, الساعة موعدهم, is being connected to الساعة أدهى وأمر by حرف عطف واو. That's kind of like what is happening there. So الساعة is another مبتدأ there. أدهى, you cannot tell what it is doing, whether it's رفع نسب or jar, because it is ناقص, اسم منقوص. So it is always going to be مبني like this. Yeah. And in that sense, we ask ourselves, okay, so I've seen a mubtada, I'm expecting a khabar. I don't know if this is a khabar, if it's rafa or not, but because I cannot tell, I'm going to assume that this is a khabar. So because it's always going to be like that. So in this case, adha is going to be a khabar, and adha is ism tafdil. It's like akbaru, adha. Okay. So اسم تفضيل, and this our خبر there, الساعة أدهى. Again, you have واو حرف عطف and another اسم تفضيل أمر. مرة from being better. You know, the word for the verb for being better, you have the word أمر. Okay, so this is the معطوف. So حرف عطف and the معطوف, kind of like what we have there. Okay, we good? All right. إن المجرمين, إن, we know about إن. المجرمين is it's اسم. It's إن's اسم. Okay, so إن المجرمين together they form the مبتدا because إن and it's اسم. Then you have في ظلال حرف جار and it's مجرور. We're going to call it متعلقان بإن. Okay, so it goes back to this إن, or you can say, sorry, not بإن, what am I saying? بخبر محذوف, because it's gonna go back to some خبر that is محذوف. إن المجرمين, maybe certainly the criminals are found in ضلال. So that found, which will be our خبر, is محذوف, right? And this في ظلال would be the متعلق to that خبر that is محذوف. وحرف عطف again سعور. Again, this is just معطوف to ظلال, and that's why you can see they match. ظلال سعور, because it's معطوف عليه. Okay. Again, so you can see pretty straightforward sentences. Now we have يوما. يوما, whenever it comes with a fatha like this, it's a ظرف. So we know it's a ظرف. Okay? Because a ظرف, most of the time they're gonna be mansub. So ظرف mansub. All right? So يوما, and because it's a ظرف, it comes as a mudaf. Remember special mudaf? We call them ظرفs. Special mudaf, we call them ظروف. So this is going to be our ظرف وهو مضاف. So this is our mudaf. And if this is our mudaf, then where is the mudaf إليه? Now the mudaf إليه is this entire sentence. We're going to call it في محل جر بالإضافة, or في محل جر مضاف إليه. This sentence, it's going to be the mudaf إليه of يوم. Just like the way إذا, sometimes when إذا comes in a sentence, we say إذا is the mudaf and the sentence after it is في محل جر مضاف إليه. All right. And when you enter into that sentence, you have يسحبون, which is a فعل مضارع. And the فاعل is واو, which is home, right? في النار, again جار مجرور, متعلقان بيسحبون. Did we do? Oh, يسحبون. I think this is مجهول. Okay, يسحبون, and then متعلق بيسحبون. So على وجوههم. Now here's interesting. So sometimes we know when you have حرف جار, it becomes jar majroor, and then it's going to be متعلق to something most of the time. But we've also seen jar majroor coming as a sifa. We've seen jar majroor coming as a hal. We've seen jar majroor coming as a different things, right? So jar majroor can come in as different things as well. Most of the time we're going to say متعلق, but sometimes it's not a متعلق. So you have to ask yourself, if it's a متعلق, it's متعلق to what, and what does it mean? So يسحبون في النار, this is متعلق to يسحبون, because where are they being dragged? They're going to be dragged to the fire. So that there's a connection there. It makes it متعلق. But على وجوههم, it's kind of describing how are they being dragged to the fire? على وجوههم, on their faces. So you can see it answers a different question. It's not just متعلق, it's actually answering how. So this على وجوههم, yes, على وجوههم is actually our حال. جار مجرور, حال. Of what? Of whom? Their حال. How are they being dragged to the fire? On their faces. Is that clear? And of course, like we said, this entire sentence is going to be مضاف إليه مجرور. Are we good? Clear? Fantastic. Okay. Then
What
you have
does
do. Uh-huh.
what does للإضراب mean?
للإضراب. So this is a term to indicate the purpose on which the purpose of bal. So إضراب means to like to go away from something, move away from something. So you initially said this statement, and now you're canceling that statement and you're bringing a new statement. So that's what lil idrab means. It means you are negating what came before and you are bringing in a new evidence, like a new statement that you want to support. You're not supporting that statement that you said before. So whenever you come across this term lil idrab, that's just what it means. It means that whatever came before, we are negating it and we are affirming what came after. Like just I gave you the example of Ahmed came rather Muhammad. If we say that in English, Ahmed came rather Muhammad. What I'm actually saying is, no, it wasn't Ahmed that came. It was actually Muhammad. I misspoke. Or sometimes you misspoke, you misspeak. Sometimes you actually want to expose something. Like most of the time, whenever you see this idrab, like you would hear, you would see Allah saying something about the kuffar, and then you said, "Bal, this is the case." Like they think this is the case, but rather this is the case. That's not the case. This is the actual case. So something like that. So that's what al-idrab is all about. So here, if we're to look at, yeah.
Sorry. Can we say half of negation like that?
No, it's not negation.
Okay.
It's not negation.
Okay.
Because negation is like Ahmed did not come.
Like omission,
Okay.
maybe something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Like
omission.
rather.
Or,
Yeah, like
yeah.
you said, rather this happened.
Yeah, rather, yes, rather. Rather is a good term
And
for it.
it's a harf now for the sake of إعراب.
Yes, it's a harf.
Okay.
Definitely a harf. And it's also part of the harf ataf. So a while back, maybe I introduced you guys to huruf al-ataf, the connecting words. Wow is the most common one that we are familiar with, but bal is also one of them. You have several others. Fa, you have lakin. Maybe I could just show you just the list for purposes of revision, because it's a slightly long list. So you have wow, the most common that we know. Aw, or the one I told you. Hal comes with aw, and hamza comes with So aw is also harf ataf. Thumma, we are familiar with thumma. Fa as well. Bal is what we just talked about. Lakin is also another harf that is harf ataf, and it has its own rules. Sometimes la of negation comes as harf ataf. Also, it has some of its rules. We talked about comes with so this is just connecting this part to the previous part, so it's a connecting thing. Then you also have hatta, and again also hatta has some of its rules when it comes as a harf ataf. So those are just some of the huruf ataf, just for purposes of revision. Yes, so bal is a harf. Good. Any other questions?
So Ilham, for all this harf, we just write them as lil Arab, lil idrab.
Not all, no, all of them have different purposes. They serve different purposes. بل, you can see I put here in إضراب. بل إضراب. لكن استدراك. So these are different functions. You can see they all serve different functions. فا تفيد الترتيب والتعقيب والتوالي. So you can see the functions of فا is that it's used for sequence. Like for example, if I say جاء أحمد فمحمد, or دخل أحمد فمحمد, I am showing you the sequence in which events happened. It was first Ahmad, then it was Muhammad. That is how the order, the sequence of event happened. Okay, and at-ta'qib means one after the other, like it followed. So when I use fa, I mean Muhammad followed Ahmad. It was Ahmad, then afterwards it was Muhammad. Thumma, you can see it has a tartib, which still shows order, shows sequence, but at-tarahi, it has at-tarahi. Tarahi means it doesn't necessarily mean it followed after. So many other things could happen. If I said Ja'a Ahmad thumma Muhammad, it doesn't mean that after Ahmad immediately there was Muhammad. Maybe somebody else came, and then another person came, and then thumma Muhammad. So that's kind of like what that happens. So you can see أو تفيد التخيير أو الشك. So أو shows either choosing or expressing doubt. Like, I don't know, is this or this? Whenever we speak like that. Or I tell you, pick this or this. I'm giving you an option. Take this or this. So that's an option. Or I'm expressing doubt. I don't know whether to eat lunch or eat dinner. I don't know. Like, there's some doubt. So you can see all these huruf ataf. They are called connecting harfs, but they all serve different purposes. Okay? Yeah. So don't just assume like all of them are for istidrak. Only bal is for idrab. Only bal is for idrab. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, because I was wondering, when we did the for ayah number 44, I think where it was you had written it as idrab. So I thought maybe that's why.
Oh, so you assumed like all of, okay. So sometimes it depends on the meaning. So sometimes you can have some of these hurufs, like you can have lakin lil-idrab. You can have bal lil-istidrak. You can have like them doing different functions, but doesn't mean like all of them that would do the same function. Right? So it depends on the meaning, what Allah is trying to say in the ayah. So in this case, let's see, this was ayah number 44. Yeah, للإضراب. So أكفاركم خير من أولئكم. So Allah is kind of like mocking them. He's talking to the Quraysh and he's saying, are your disbelievers better than those who came before? Like these guys, the Fir'auns, you think the Quraysh, like he's mocking the Quraysh and asking them, like, do you think your disbelievers are better than the ones that came before, like Ad and Thamud? I mean, those guys were massive. Those guys were way better. So you think you're better? Rather, you think لكم براءة في الزبر, or rather you think, so it's like negating that previous and making it worse. So it's like a serious mockery happening here. أم يقولون نحن جميع منتصر. Rather, they are saying that we are going to be, victorious. So it's like Allah is exposing their wishful thinking in some way. And maybe when we get to the explanation, we'll get deeper into this. I haven't reached this part, so I don't know the intricacies of this ayat, but inshallah we'll try and uncover all those juicy details of what is doing there and so on and so forth. Inshallah. All right. Any other clarifications? Great. So we have dhuqu. Dhuqu is a command, it's an amr. But now the question it becomes is an amr of what? Like what's happening here? So I don't know if we did something like this previously, and I don't know if you remember. So there's there's a فعل that is محذوف. وقيل, and it was said, ذوقوا. So this whole sentence then becomes مقول القول over فعل that is محذوف. It was said, taste. Just like when this happened, when we had مقول القول, where did we have مقول القول? I think previously. When we had مقول القول, here, يقولون نحن جميعا منتصر. So if you were to sort of hide this يقولون, it would be أن نحن جميعا منتصر. So you would see that, okay, although that might not be clear because this is not an amr, but if it was an amr, you'd actually see that this amr, ذوقوا, taste. So somebody is saying this word taste. It's not just like a command is being said, right? So it just didn't jump from, where were we? It just didn't jump from يوم يسحبون في النار على وجوههم, on the day on which they'll be dragged to the fire on their faces, ذوقوا, taste. So somebody is saying to them, taste, right? وقيل لهم ذوقوا, and it was said to them, or it will be said to them, taste. So this sentence is مقول القول to a فعل that is محذوف, which is, therefore that means this entire sentence is going to be في محل نصب مفعول به مقول القول, right? And then of course you enter into that مقول القول, you have ذوقوا, which is فعل أمر, and of course the فاعل is the inside pronoun أنتم ذوقوا, right? And of course, again, like we said, you would see in Arab books, they would say this waw. The waw is the fa'il. But since we are familiar with antum, we'll just go with antum. Massa. Massa, it's nasab. So that tells you this is a maf'ul bihi. Taste what? Taste massa. So, ذوقوا massa maf'ul bihi. Right? And then you have massa saqar. Massa saqar. You can see massa is light, no al, and saqar, it doesn't look like a mudaf ilayh, but what's happening? Why does it have a fatha on it? I mean, shouldn't it be saqari because it's a mudaf ilayh? It should be, but because it is mamnu' min as-sarf. How is it mamnu' min as-sarf? Because it's one of the names of Jahannam. And we know the names of Jahannam are feminine for some reason. Women are tough. I don't know. Women are hot. I don't know which one you want to go with, but the names of Jahannam are feminine. And Saqar is also a name of Jahannam, and it's feminine. And because it's a noun and it's feminine, it becomes mamnu' min as-sarf. Okay? So we're going to say this is مضاف إليه في محل جر. This is going to be why is it not writing? Okay. مضاف إليه so مضاف إليه مجرور بالفتحة. Okay. Questions? Are we good? Okay. Inna. We are familiar with inna. Inna, it's inna and it's ism. So this is going to be our mubtada. So mubtada. Inna kulla shay'in خلقناه. So we need to figure out what's happening here. First of all, كل شيء, this looks like an إضافة. We can already tell that much. So كل is the مضاف and شيء is the مضاف إليه. But why is it nasab? Why is it كل? Why is it not كل? Because we have a مبتدا, we're expecting a خبر. So we're expecting كل. So something else is happening here. So we skip and go ahead and we see خلقناه. Then we have to ask ourselves, what does this who refer back to? What does this who connect back to. So whenever you have a a'id always goes back to something. So what is this a'id going back to? Then you have to ask yourself, okay, which of the topics that we learned has a'id? I know اسم موصول and صلة الموصول has عائد. صفة has complex صفة has عائد. What else has عائد? And الاشتغال. Remember the topic of الاشتغال? Yeah, الاشتغال where the مفعول به is brought forward. For example, if we are to say والسماء بنيناها والسماء بنيناها كل شيء خلقناه. So you see that similarity? It was supposed to be خلقنا كل شيء. We created everything. That's the meaning. But Allah is saying, no, everything. We created it. It adds importance. Al-ishtighal gives importance to the maf'ul bihi. So it brought it forward and gave it importance. So this will become maf'ul bihi mansub. We can say mansub lil-ishtighal. That's just kind of how we do the i'rab of it. Whenever you have ishtighal, and then you will see some other stuff, like they will say خلقناه لا محل له من الإعراب, so on and so forth. Okay, I mean للاشتغال. Oh yeah, I put a hamza there. Okay, yeah, is that part so far clear? So كل شيء, it's supposed to be, the sentence is supposed to be خلقنا كل شيء, but we took the كل شيء, which was مفعول به, we brought it forward, and now we have to have a pronoun that goes back to it, that refers back to it, and then it has to be mansub because now it is the idea of اشتغال, right? So كل شيء مفعول به منسوب للاشتغال, and then when we enter into خلقناه as a فعل, you have خلقناه, which is a فعل مضارع, sorry, ماضي, the doer being نحن, verb, inside, and then of course the who is the attached pronoun مفعول به, which goes back to كل شيء, right? And then we have بقدر. بقدر, you can say متعلق, but it tells you also, it answers another question again. Remember, jar majroor can come as other things. What kind of questions do you think it answered? Is it answering why? Why did we create? No. Is it answering when did we create? Is it answering who did we create? Is it answering how did we create? خلقناه بقدر, with power, with ability, with capability, with so you see that it kind of answers the question how we created. All right, so that becomes our hal. بقدر. You can even say by measure, or some of qadar has so many meanings, by the way. Qadar has so many: predestination, proportion. How did we do it? In due measure, in due proportion, with power. Yeah. So that kind of, it could be a hal, could be also متعلق.
Sister, will this whole be a bucket of khabar?
Sorry?
After will it be the khabar bucket, the whole?
Yes. This whole thing is a khabar. This whole thing. So you see that what happened here is a jumla fi'liya. خلقنا كل شيء بقدر. It was supposed to be like that. And that whole sentence would be the khabar of inna. But here we had al-ishtighal, where the maf'ul bihi came forward. So it kind of just confused us a little bit, but it's the same thing. The whole sentence again becomes the khabar of inna. So maybe we can write it that. Let's clarify that as well. So we put a bracket here, and we say this whole sentence is the khabar of inna. Good. Yeah, good observation
So
there.
it will be في محل رفع.
Yes, في محل رفع. this whole sentence في محل رفع خبر إن. All right. Okay. Maybe we can finish this last ayah and then we can stop. Wa harf ataf. We've come across this so many times. Then we have ma. So whenever we come across a ma, we need to ask ourselves, what kind of a ma is it? Then when you look ahead, you can see illa. Ma illa. What does that tell you? What kind of a ma is this?
Conditional sentence.
Sorry, repeat that. Yeah, this is the negation. Ma nafiya. Yeah, negation. Ma illa. In illa. La illa. All these are templates for negation. So whenever you see ma, and then you look ahead and you see illa, exception, this is ma nafiya. Okay? So we can say ma nafiya. Then we have amruna. Now, the way to do i'rab of ma illa sentence, the easiest way, and Ustad has said this before, what you do is you just get rid of the ma, you get rid of the illa, and you look at the sentence and you say amruna wahidatun. That looks like a jumla ismiya, mubtada khabar. So I'm just gonna make amruna my mubtada, and then I'm gonna make my wahida my khabar. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, of course, there's some logic behind this, and I mentioned this, I think, for those who attend yesterday's video, we talked about al-istithna. We revised a little bit about al-istithna, and we said there are three cases in which you have al-istithna, or the mustathna minhu. Sorry, the mustathna. So the mustathna, the exception. The word that comes after illa is called an exception. How do we know what status is the word after illa? There are three situations. The first situation is when you have a positive sentence plus mustathna minhu. What you get is you get mustathna mansub. Okay, I'm just going to write them down and then I'm going to explain. The second situation is where you have a negative sentence plus mustathna minhu. What you get is either mustathna mansub or you get a badal marfu, or you just get badal. Okay, and then you have the last situation where you have a negative sentence and the mustathna minhu is not mentioned, so we're going to say minus mustathna minhu. Mustathna minhu. What you get is whatever the role it plays in the sentence. All right. So what do I mean by this stuff? Let's look at an example. If I said جاء, I'm going to use the same example we used yesterday. جاء الطلاب إلا we can use Muhammad to make it clear how nasab this is. So جاء الطلاب إلا محمدا. جاء الطلاب إلا محمدا. So what is the so you can see it's a positive sentence. There's no negation here happening. There's no ma, there's no la, there's no in, there's no laysa. It's not a negation. It's a positive sentence. The students came except Muhammad. All right. So this at-tullabu is what I'm calling the mustathna minhu. That's the mustathna minhu. And Muhammadan is the exception, is the thing that becomes mansub. So you can see mustathna mansub. So when we're doing i'rab of this kind of sentence, we will call this Muhammadan mustathna mansub. That's how we will say it. All right. And then we have, let's look at the second example. The second example, you have a negative sentence. The mustathna minhu is mentioned. How do you do the i'rab? So let's look at an example. جاء الطلاب, same thing. مستثنى منه is الطلاب. Then we have an exception. إلا. Oh, ما جاء, sorry, it's a negation. ما جاء. So now we have a negation. ما جاء الطلاب إلا. Now we have two options. We can say إلا محمد, or we can say إلا محمد. Okay? Because محمد will either be the badal of الطلاب, which is our مستثنى منه. So it either is the badal of that, or it's going to be مستثنى منصوب. This is the case of what's happening there. So a negative sentence with the مستثنى منه mentioned, you get two ways. You get choose whichever one you want. You get two ways. Yeah, either way is possible. Right. Then you have the third case. Now the third case, so what just happened? Okay. ما جاء إلا محمد. Now in this case, I don't have, you can see there's no مستثنى منه. There's no, الطلاب is not mentioned. Is this ما جاء إلا محمد. Now how do I know how to do the i'rab of what comes after إلا? I look at the sentence, I remove this ma and illa, and I just look at the sentence. This sentence is actually جاء أحمد, جاء محمد. In that case, if it was just جاء محمد, you can clearly see that جاء محمد, Muhammad is the fa'il of جاء. Muhammad is the one who's doing the coming. So he's the fa'il. So in that sense, it is playing the role of the fa'il. So how would I do the i'rab of after illa? I would say it is the fa'il. Now, this is what we have here. This is the example of what we have here. You can see ما أمرنا, our command, there's no مستثنى منه. The مستثنى منه is not mentioned. So إلا واحدة. So you can just remove the ma and illa and look at the sentence and see what role is the wahida playing, and you can see that this is a simple mubtada khabar that is happening there. And that's why we say role that it plays, because sometimes it's not always that it's going to be the fa'il. Sometimes, as you've seen, it's a khabar. Sometimes it's a maf'ul bihi. Sometimes it's a majroor. So whatever, it's something else. Yeah. So you have to be careful there. So that's just some revision on exception illa. And as you can see, this is the easiest. So you just remove ma and illa, and you look at the sentence the way it is. Questions? All right. So then we have ka lamhin. Ka is harf jar. So this will be harf jar متعلق. So ka lamhin jar اسم حرف جار and اسم مجرور متعلقان. And of course ka is something that shows tashbih, like comparison. This to this. So this is like this. كلمح بالبصر. Okay, كلمح بالبصر. Again, another متعلق. All right. Are we good? Any questions? Okay, great. Just want to confirm this last year. كلمح محذوفين حال. Okay, so there's just something maybe. How do I want to mention that? Or I think we can stop there. We can just stop there. And inshallah next or the other week we can start from the Sarf section and finish the Nahw, because we only have 5 ayat remaining to do the Nahw and Sarf. and then we can just focus on the explanation and try and finish this surah. I think hopefully in a couple of weeks we should be able to be done. Maybe I don't know, 1 or 2 months. Maybe inshallah we'll be able to done, and then we can take a break a little bit, and then we can figure out the next surah that we're gonna do, inshallah. I hope you guys are benefiting from this kind of revision and learning as well, because I am learning a lot from this. Alhamdulillah, it's been a great journey. I know it takes a long time, but I think it's better to do like this and be persistent, because you're learning so much at the same time, as opposed to just perusing through. I think this is a more all-rounded approach to revision. All right.
Yes.
Yes, go on.
Alhamdulillah.
All right.
Yes, I'm
Alhamdulillah.
saying Alhamdulillah, it's more benefiting, because we're also revising the different concepts,
Yeah.
because otherwise we just forget them,
Exactly. Yeah. So when we encounter them and we speak about them and we revise, like today we did harf ataf,
Yes.
and for those who are wondering about, yeah. So harf ataf, I did an episode on that on my YouTube. I can still share the link, and I can also share the words in the group as well for those who might need that. And yeah, you see, like sometimes I also forget, like I'm like, oh, we learned that a long time ago. I need to check my notes. What did we say about this concept? So it sneaks up on you. And like, for example, today we did al-ishtighal as well, something that rarely comes up. And we did also istithna. So a lot of concepts at the same time, which is great, alhamdulillah. All right. Any other comments, clarifications, corrections before we close? Okay, great. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. I'm really happy, Sakina, that you learned quite a bit. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, that's great. I'll see you. Assalamu alaikum, guys. I'll see you guys next week, inshallah, for the explanation.
Salam.
Barakat.